championship. Let's take it.
Yes, great. Yes, great.
Hello and welcome to the Thresher Football Show, back for another season. I'm Dan Page, voice of the Threshers, alongside head coach A.B. Stokes of the Bethel College football team. A.B. Stokes starting his second season at Bethel College, went 9-1 last year in his first season, coming back after being an assistant for a few years, stepped away and then came back last year, made an impact in his first season as the head coach. Coach, does it ever hit you, first of all, that, hey, you're here doing this?
Nah, not really.
Not really?
Not really. It never really hit, because it was like, you know, we jumped into the fire last year, myself and the staff, and we just kept going. We haven't really slowed down yet, so I would say no, but I definitely enjoy it. I enjoy Bethel. Appreciate them, and man, I enjoy being here. I'm excited, ready to roll.
Is there anything that you learned that you wanted to do going into year two that you learn from an experience in year one that you wanted to do better?
How much time you got, Dan?
Okay, so maybe just one thing.
I definitely learned a few things. You know, the biggest thing is, you know, you can't worry about every little thing. You have to kind of focus on the things that you can control and go from there. But definitely, I think last year I was trying to make everything perfect and you know, imperfect for everyone. And it's kind of like, you know, we got to decide as a program what's best for our team, man, and roll with it.
Absolutely. And year two getting started in August again, like it did last year. You guys had a week 0 technically game against Atlantis. You dive right into conference play in August, and you get Sterling off the bat, and he'll play at 6 o'clock at Thresher Stadium, a home opener, hopefully for a great crowd. We'll see with this heat. That's made things very interesting this last week across the state of Kansas. But first of all, Coach, I just want to check in with you and see how things have gone. Just briefly reviewing like spring ball and things in the summer and into camp, how you feel things have gone.
Well, I think things have gone not according to plan at all.
Really?
But I think they've gone. Things have been extremely well. Coming into the offseason, we lose a big class in that leadership, yeah, right, of all those seniors from last year. So we're trying to figure out, okay, what's the leadership gonna be like now? What's basically what kind of story are these guys gonna write? Who's gonna step up? What's the culture of the team gonna look like? Because I know people get into talking about culture a lot, myself included, but year to year, especially after you graduate a big class, yeah, you're at jeopardy of your culture shifting or changing. And so in the off season, we continue to hit it hard with off season workouts, lifting, running, competition days, things of that nature. But for a while, it felt like we were just kind of drifting without seeing what it was going to be like. And then we had kind of a hard day. And I say a hard day, I'm talking about players speaking some truth about where they felt the program was kind of going, or where they wanted it to go, and we all came together and decided what team we wanted to be moving forward. And I've said it in another interview with Midwest Sports, but the leadership that after that day, the leadership that we've experienced as a team is unlike anything that I've ever been a part of, and that's not a knock to the people, the teams that I've been a part of, or the leaderships groups that have been a part of some of our teams. Is more so speaking values to, because I've been a part of some great leadership teams, you know what I mean, and it just speaks values of these young men. Like, my goodness, I'd put them up against anybody in the country as far as their mindset and what it is that they're trying to achieve, and just the men that they're trying to become. So that was the end of the spring. I thought spring ball went well. Summer, you know, they're not, everybody's not on campus in the summers. So, but we had a good amount of guys stay back, hit the weight room hard, and the ones who were away, they came in, they tested out well this fall camp. And then also the freshmen that came, we brought in a big freshman class, man, 46 people came in this fall. And here's the crazy thing about it, Dan. We haven't lost one. Now, I just told you that. It was the three guys going to come into the office tomorrow. Like, Coach, we can't do it anymore. No, but we haven't lost one. And I'm waiting till the 20th day of school. I think that definitely would be something that speaks values of the leadership of our program, both coaches and players.
Yeah, it definitely seems like a good group, a different group. If you've been familiar with Thresher football, you look around when you surround yourself with the team and you see a mix of a bunch of new guys and like about 60% guys that have been here for a while.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting. I don't think I've had to introduce myself this many times to players since probably 2019, and that class has mostly left. Some of them are still here, but it's interesting to see. I think everybody knows that from a certain aspect, you got to earn your spot on the field and things like that, and you build up to what your full potential on the field over the years if you stick it out.
Oh yeah, and the freshmen coming in, some of the transfers, they definitely understand, but they see it in the things we do. We want to be a championship program, producing championship men. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think they see it. And just everything that we do here, everything that we try to do and accomplish, and I think that's really what they gravitate towards, and it's a little easier to follow a process when it's laid out in front of you daily. You know what I mean? The process. So I'm excited, Dan. That's all. Every time I talk about it, I just get more and more excited. Like, hey, Saturday, let's go. So.
Absolutely. Started camp August 4th. You got guys coming in that were new to the team at least, and quickly to establish the things that this program stands for. Keyword there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Just driving through and helping people understand what's been built, and it's going to continue. It's going to stand on and on. And that's really important from the get-go. I've sat in on a lot of those team meetings, and things have gotten really real. I think that's one of the things that, just as an outsider looking in, sometimes that your relatability to the players, bringing your perspective, life perspective, I think really. Because you've been in their shoes before at this level, and in some cases in life level, and it's just a lesson in itself. But you surround yourself again, great coaching staff. You got a couple different addition to the coaching staff as well, but outside of the last week or so with the heat, I think camp has been interesting to follow along. The first day maybe not the greatest, but have you seen some growth? Oh
my goodness, today I feel like we had the best practice. We broke the season up. This is non-divisional play now, so we're out of the camp. But we definitely had the best practice over the last 2.5 weeks today, which is that's where you want to be. That's where you want to trend. So I definitely have seen growth and improvement. Guys are just kind of figuring out, especially the new guys, they're figuring out what it is that we want them to do and the level that we want them to perform at. And so I'll say that first day, it's all about getting people accustomed to it, because I look at the first day and then I don't gauge it towards the last day of last year. I gauge it towards the first day of last year, and we were a step ahead of where we were the first day of last year for sure. But that comes because people being in the system for another year and feeling comfortable with us as coaches, at least the returners, for another year. So so definitely saw growth though. Definitely seen growth.
And we'll get to the personnel and things like that later in the show, but I just feel like you have a good mix coming in, a lot of returners, key returners. It's been interesting to just look around and see guys that have been here 4 or 5 years and just see them evolve as players and how selfless they have been this entire time. You have guys that maybe didn't get the carries or the receptions they wanted last couple years, but they bought into each other, and that is a big part of this brand of football, not just at NAI but at Bethel College as well.
Oh yeah, and you gotta have it. You said selfless. You mentioned STAND. So we do have an acronym called STAND, and it's what protects our culture. We say we stand on these, I call them godly principles that's going to protect the culture, and it's selflessness, toughness, appreciation, now then next, and then discipline. And definitely that first one, selflessness, is key, because you're not going to do it with a small roster. You're not going to do it just with guys who play every snap. It definitely takes those guys who do the dirty work, who don't get all the minutes, who invest in their teammates. They're the ones who make this experience worthwhile for everybody, and because it's easy to, if you're playing, to feel good and be the happiest guy in the room, but if you're not playing as much, or you're a role player, sometimes that can be tough. But that's the toughness factor. Sometimes you got to do the things that not everybody would want to do, and we have a bunch of guys who are tough here, so it just adds to the great culture that we have.
And I think anybody, whether you're a football player, whatever age you are, you can break it down to any demographic. One thing that I listened to that message and I said, that's so relatable for everybody. You start thinking about your inner discipline as a person, and being willing to do things that nobody else will, and stepping forward. And I think that's the biggest foundation of a program, even from everywhere that I've been following teams at the high school and college level, and successful teams. I think it starts there for sure. Yeah.
Got to have something that they say, if you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for anything, right?
That's right. You got to have that foundation.
Yes, sir.
There you go. And, of course, the Threshers open up with the Sterling College Warriors, and week 0, I should say, football game, 6 o'clock from Thresher Stadium. You can watch on the KCAC network. I'll have the call for that one from North Newton. Should be in the 90s, I think, for that one, and we'll get to temperature talks in a moment.
Yeah.
But
the 90 will be cool. If it's 90, it's going to feel like 65 as hot as it's been. So
well, of course, you guys have been practicing really early in the morning to prepare for that. Temperatures in the afternoon and early evenings in the 110s in Kansas, and it's just crazy. Air conditioners failing all over the community, and not just on campus, but even in my house, kind of a thing. And so it's just really another thing to add to the mix. And I know this week you guys are your term is focus, and so we'll talk about that a little bit when we get to Sterling. But after all of that, enduring the heat and everything, I guess the focus is so important within that on the game. But you guys have had to adapt to that as well. I remember talking to some guys at the cafeteria on Monday. They're like, kind of sarcastically talking about morning practice the next day being so early. Yeah. But bright and early bird gets the worm, they say, with that terminology. But how has this practice week been so unique for you guys?
Well, one, I'm up here at 4:30 in the morning, 4:15, and last night we had study hall, and I run that myself, so I'm at home at 9 o'clock at night. So it's been a little tiresome. But as far as unique, we thrive on adversity and changing things up, and it maybe it's just me trying to put it onto my players, but I love it. Like, when I see something that's changed or not the norm, or crazy, out of the ordinary. I'm like, hey, advantage Threshers. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Advantage Threshers, like, hey, let's go. Like, because I always look at it like we're not the only one experiencing the heat wave here in Kansas. Everybody's experiencing it, so might as well go through it with a smile on your face and a can-do attitude. You know what I mean?
There you go.
And have the best practices that you can, and not let it truly affect you. Really, I've been enjoying myself, thinking like, hey, why don't we do this every week? But nah, our guys, no, we'd rather lift in the mornings and practice in the afternoon. So for sure,
that seems to be the standard at different levels of the game as well. Practice in the afternoon, lift in the morning, kind of repetition, so to speak.
Yeah.
So, Coach, I think we're going to take our first break of the show, and we'll come back. We'll talk about the 2023 Threshers and the upcoming game against Sterling, and maybe a little bit about the KCAC conference and its changes this year.
Sounds good.
You're watching the Thresher Football Show.
Thresher fans, get ready for the upcoming school year by becoming a member of the Bethel Booster Club. Your membership impacts all athletic programs by paying for experiences last year, such as the Threshbees Award Show, postseason experiences and postseason tickets, the Hall of Fame banquet, enhanced live streaming equipment, new banners in Thresher Gym, equipment for the Gearing Hall weight room, windscreens at Ward Tennis Center, and Thresher Stadium. Be a part of Thresher Athletics history and a booster club that is living out the Bethel College Athletics mission by creating life-changing experiences for our student athletes through 4 levels of membership plus parent and young alumni specials. Athletics is an integral part of the Bethel College experience, and thanks to your support, we look forward to growing our success for the future. Visit BethelThreshers.com/Booster Club to become a member today.
Welcome back to the Thresher Football Show. Bethel College getting set to take on the Sterling College Warriors in week 1 of the 2023 college football season in the NAIA. Dan Page alongside head football coach of the Threshers, A.B. Stokes. The Threshers picked number 23 in the NAIA polls to start the year in the preseason rankings, and four teams from the KCAC are in the top 25, and you could argue 5 are in the top 30 of the nation. You're talking about Southwestern, Avila, Kansas Wesleyan, Bethel, and Evangel, and 3 of those schools are in the same division of the KCAC, the Kessinger division. And so it'll be interesting to see what comes up on the schedule for you guys. I know you don't place Evangel till the last game of the season, of the regular season. And, of course, that break in between non-divisional and divisional play all into factors. You can find out more about that on the KCACsports.com website to learn more about the conference changes. So, Threshers taking on Sterling, 6 o'clock from Thresher Stadium this week 0. And I'll have the call on the KCAC network. Well, Coach, let's talk about your team a little bit. So many guys return both sides of the ball. I can only think on offense. We'll start there, I guess. Just a couple changes, mainly, but mostly, familiar faces. Oh yeah,
we're bringing back 4 of the 5 starting offensive linemen. You got Logan Birch, Ryan Junkermeyer, Ethan Ince, and Cole Herman, all coming back. Obviously, DJ Sears coming back, quarterback. We've got Scott Greider and KJ Christensen, both running backs who you can argue were starters last year, respectively. And then our slots, Mario Quintera, Tucker Smith, and then I'm telling you who to watch out for, Trayvon Madison.
Yes.
Watch out for Trayvon Madison. I don't know, he's been eating his Wheaties, man. I tell you what, he has. So we're bringing back a lot. And then on the outside, obviously we lost Brayton Francis on the outside. But I would argue, with the exception, we probably brung in some receivers, had some guys get healthy that are definitely going to be dangerous. So offensively, I don't get it. Okay. We should be pretty good, man. I'll leave it at that. We should be pretty good. Defensively, we're bringing back 3 guys on the D line who played a lot. Ferrier, Doug Greider, and Jairo Castillo. Byron Blossomgame has played a lot. And then emerging sophomore, Frank Driscoll,
yes,
who is, he is I tell you what, he listened to John Henson. I guess he took advice from him all last year, you know. And then Reese Bennett played a lot of football here. He's been here. He's a senior now. Then the linebacker core, Cade Miller, who is arguably going to be one of the best linebackers in the conference, if you ask me. And then Tate Seabolt, the brother of Josh Seabolt, coming in, who played some games for us. He got the start against Friends last year. Then in the secondary, I mean, we've got 4 guys with
you got like 10 guys.
Oh my goodness! and 4 of them have a ton of playing experience. And Brennan Sanders, Grant Gotze, Robin Neely, and you got Denzel Dixon and Tate Pickard, who have experience there. And then on the other side, the other corner, you've got Darius Pamplin and Roger Edwards, who both have experience as well. And then we've got a ton of new guys. I don't think we have a freshman corner at all. They're all upperclassmen, and we have about 8 corners on the roster, and I don't think we have a freshman one. And so, like I said, it's just a lot of experience, man. It's gonna be fun to see these guys get out here and play some football, man. See what they can do.
Yeah, I think I'll try to fill in anything that I can think of within there. But going back to your offense, I mean, everybody that's going to start on offensive line has been in the program for at least 2 years now.
Yeah, and I didn't mention the 5th, Kanan Wade, who squatted 600 pounds. Yeah, he squatted 600 pounds this fall coming back to camp. So, and there's video evidence. If you guys don't believe it, check our Twitter out. He got down there on it. You know what I mean? And so. It is, man, just like you said, a lot of experience up front.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. You touched base on some of the skill positions. It's really going to be a good year. Definitely want to stay healthy at the same time. The mobility of DJ Sears is going to be definitely important yet again this year. And I think a lot of focus is going to be watching your guys on the offensive line. Just last year was a little bit of a learning experience with a different kind of offensive style, and I think everybody's looking for growth and progress there from the outside looking in.
Well, I sure hope they're looking forward. I'm looking forward too.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely. And I will say with the offense, Denton Hudspeth becoming your offensive coordinator, it may be a little bit different in some aspects, but I think he does a good job of knowing. He knows this program through and through. He's been on the coaching staff longer than anybody else.
He's the most tenured coach here on the football staff right now.
Well, and the thing is, he started out in the defensive secondary, and now over on the offensive side of the ball, he knows a little bit of both sides of it and how to play each piece of the chessboard, so to speak. And I can't wait to see what he has in store for this team this year. Yeah,
it's gonna be fun to watch. And we didn't change. We changed some things, but what Coach Langford implemented, we still have we had a base of what he did, so it was easy for the kids to pick up what Coach Denton was doing, and he's just building on it now, which I'm excited to see, the transformation of the offense for sure.
Certainly. Then switching over to the defensive side of the ball, you talk about your depth. I mean, defense has been a strength in this program for a lot of years now. I think last year defense was just in scrimmages, they're out there assassins, out there hitting like crazy in a live scrimmage, things like that. I think that's the standard. They understand that. They have guys to do that continuously right now coming into this season. And the depth in the secondary, if anybody had any doubts about that and losing players in the secondary, I think it could be quickly dismissed, because it's going to be really awesome to see. You talk about Cade and Tate at linebackers. I think it'll be interesting also to see some other guys work in and get some repetitions there and try to, make sure you guys are well-rounded. But the defensive line, I mean, it has constantly been a strength for your program, for the Bethel College program. Ernest Ferrier, I mean, he's been here a while now. Of course, Doug Ryder. You mentioned Hyro, and then I really was impressed in scrimmages with Frank Driscoll.
I'll tell you Frank Driscoll's
he's got a motor.
Welcome to the KCAC, Frank, Mr. Driscoll, because I'm telling you. About the replacement, and that's the thing we did. We lost. Everybody knows, no secret. We lost 2 great DBs from the starting secondary. Mm-hmm. But that is life. Right, you lose players we're gonna lose players after this season's over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you want to be a great program, man, you gotta train the people like now, like you talk about those guys who maybe not get in. You know, they've got to get their mental reps, get their reps in practice. You know, get their reps on the reserve varsity squad, and you know, and then when they have time and on Saturdays, get their reps, man, and then you know it just continue to feed itself. So that's all that it is, and that's why you know you can come to a scrimmage and you can watch it and be like, wait a minute, did you guys get faster? Did you guys get this? Did you guys? It's because I mean, Dan, we work. I don't know what people think we do here at Bethel College. I would argue that some folks thinks we do nothing in the off season by the way they treat us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But contrary to belief, man, we work really, really hard. You know, I don't really even focus too hard on. I know I sound a little salty, and maybe it's because I'm mad at the rankings. You know what I mean? But you know, it's one of those things where it's like I really don't pay too much attention in it. We just say, we look at it and we say, okay, they don't believe. Back to work. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, the chip keeps getting bigger and bigger on the shoulder. Yeah, I mean, going back to, again, I mean, some of these guys have experienced snubs, quote unquote. We'll leave it at that. But that has been building, and that's been a driving factor, and I think for good, honestly, just for the good of the program to that aspect. I'll touch base a little bit on special teams. You guys, you lose Braden Francis, who was your punter, and Ryan Gregg, who was your snapper. And Braden also was a holder on field goals and PATs. Logan DeMond kicking the ball. We saw Carson Sauceda really step in for Logan last year and really did a great job as a freshman. He's coming back as a sophomore. Really encouraged by him. And you got a big fella punting the ball now as well.
Hey, so Jackson Walker. Ivan Jackson Walker.
You calling him Ivan now?
His name's Ivan. That's
okay.
But he goes by Jackson. So
there you go.
I just had to call the full name because, I mean, he deserves it. And then we've got a freshman, Aiden Field, who he could definitely be in the mix. We're having some conversations, but right now, you know, Carson Sauceda, he's gonna handle our field goal PAT and you know some of the duties on kickoff. But Ivan Jackson, he's definitely the punter right now with him probably going back and forth trading some kickoff duties as well because he's got, man, that punt is it's something serious. You know, the only thing that you know how Braden Francis just he can grab things with one hand and he can make a back snap look good at times.
Oh yeah, he ran in so many PATs for 2-point conversion on busted plays. So that's important.
Absolutely, but you know we've been working on punt a lot and today again it looked beautiful. And I mean when he boots it. It's funny. Nobody gets excited when the punt team has to run out, except for the opposing teams. You know?
Right. Yeah.
The home team typically don't, but I'm telling you, I'll be a little excited once or twice. Like, hey, watch this, man.
Yeah.
Watch this.
Well, and of course, on the other side of that is the return game. Big part of building up ball possession or field possession, I should say, for your offense. In the punt returning and kick returning, and you got some guys with some speed in that aspect.
We do. We've got a lot of speed. I talked about Trayvon Madison. We've got Darius Pamplin, who's going to do some return stuff. Brennan Sanders is going to do some. The guy Larry Cherry, he was here last year, but he wasn't able to play. Is going to do some of that stuff. And then we still got veterans like Mario Quintero, who we can throw back there as well. So, the return game, it should be interesting as well. But Trayvon Madison, I'm telling you, I'd put him up against almost anybody in the conference, speed for speed.
There you go. Well, that's the personnel coming into this season to be excited for. I'm sure there'll be some faces that pop up that people are not expecting, and definitely want to give them chances to prove themselves over the course of the season. Well, you get the Sterling College Warriors in your first football game of the 2023 season, Week 0 matchup at 6 o'clock. here at Thresher Stadium on the campus of Bethel College. And if you can't make it, watch it on the KCAC network. I'll have the call on the broadcast. Should be a pretty good game. Sterling, another team that about 50-50 returners and new guys based on what I've seen so far evaluating. Talking about some of their returners. They've got a quarterback, Rockland Baptista. He was kind of a backup, but did get a lot of repetitions last year towards the end of the year for the Warriors. Played against you guys. Bethel in that football game last year had 4 interceptions against Sterling. Each quarterback for the Warriors threw 2 in that game. But they have guys familiar with this area that are really good skill guys, as well as they return about 50% of their offensive line, something like that. Got a few transfers in, things like that. I was talking to some of your players in the cafeteria on Monday when you guys were off, and they were already going through, player, evaluating based on last year's performance, what people did, things like that. So that's interesting to watch. But they have T.C. Smith is a good receiver for them as well. He did well against you guys last year. Ryan Stuckey.
Yeah.
And
Kansas kid too.
Yeah.
Stuckey,
yeah.
I tried to get him here.
Yeah.
He said no to me.
That's all right. And they've got a few other guys that have, played for the Warriors over the years, and they have a second-year coach as well. He went 2-8 last year. Definitely, feels like he has something to prove. I tell you what, I was really impressed with on media day.
Oh yeah,
the way he spoke about his team. Very motivational, very intellectual guy, and I was really impressed with the message that he had about the Sterling College Warriors. Defensively, I think they return about 8 guys.
Yeah, eight defensive returns.
Yeah, 6 on offense, 8 on defense. A couple defensive linemen, 2 linebackers. 3 of their 4 guys in the secondary. I think they're solid, and they return their entire specialist for kicking and punting as well. So, a good mix. Definitely want a better take on their time at Sterling for those guys that returned, and then you'll see a lot of you'll see if some new guys step in and fill some spots for them.
Yeah, for sure. And Sterling, first start with Coach Jackson. Like you said, I've got tons of respect for Coach Jackson, and Sterling is my alma mater. So outside of Saturday, I turn, I've got some Warrior gear, outside of Saturday. And that's Saturday. It's all Bethel, baby. But seriously, I definitely have a lot of respect for Coach Jackson and what he's doing with the program over there, and I definitely know that he's going to have them prepared. They do return a lot on defense. I'm looking for their defense to be a strong point, and that's no slap, to the offense. But I know, our offensive coordinator, Reggie Langford, our previous offensive coordinator, is over there now, and it's hard, for first games with the offense to kind of get it rolling. Although, you never know, they may come out and just get it rolling right away, but sometimes that gets hard to do. So I definitely know that. If I'm them, I'm trying to sell out defense, get as many stops as we can. So we're expecting to see a lot of different coverages and stunts defensively, things to try to confuse us and to slow us down from what it is that we're trying to do. And then I'd expect them to obviously the playbook can't be wide open week 1. To try to establish some form of a base and keep it rolling. So I'm excited to play a game, but definitely have respect for what they do. Week 1 games or 0 games, first games of the year are always hard to get into because we really don't know. We can guess based on what they did last year against us, and based on what we know of Coach Langford and his offense, we can guess and try to see what they're going to do. But it's week 1, first game. Like, we have no film. They can come out. And be in the craziest offense ever, like the run and shoot where you got 3 linemen or something. We don't know what they could do that, but so we're just excited to see, really evaluate our guys. Again, we break the season up into four parts. We've got camp season, fall camp. We've got non-divisional, we've got divisional, and I tell them, hey, if God's on our side, we'll have postseason. You know what I mean? So.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to rehash things a little bit, but last year's football game, you guys were up 9-7 in after the first quarter, got a safety and was able to score a touchdown I believe on a DJ Sears rushing touchdown in that game. Tucker Smith catches a ball for a touchdown in the second quarter. Rudy Juarez did as well. You guys go up 30-7 in that football game and really kept the momentum going the rest of the way. I mentioned 4 interceptions that your defense was able to have in that game. I can mainly think Roderick Edwards had one, Trey Palmer had one, as well as Josh Seabolt, and the last one is escaping me. I know Devontae Pickard picked up a fumble and ran it back in that football game as well. So, a lot of those guys back at it again this year as you face the Warriors in week 0. So it should be an exciting game. Everybody's up in the first game of the season. Nothing in the past means anything, and when you step out onto that field, so it'll be interesting to see their best versus your best come this week in Week 0 football game at 6 o'clock at Thresher Stadium on the KCAC network. You can watch it here on your mobile device or on the internet at kcacnetwork.com. I'll have the call of that game. Well, Coach, a little bit just kind of tying things together with the conference. You guys were picked to finish third in the Kessinger division behind Evangel and Southwestern. There's so many things. It's going to be really difficult to separate some of the better teams in the conference, because you guys in your division with McPherson, Friends, and Bethany as well, and then on the other division, Kansas Wesleyan and Avila amongst the preseason top 25 in the other division as well. So you get a lot of them first with Sterling, and then at St. Mary, Ottawa, and then you just kind of go down the line in that regard. But I guess I kind of knew this was going to happen to some degree, being picked third in your division, but still being a nationally ranked team. It's just bonkers. I think there's just a lot of data saying that everybody's good, and we don't know what's going to happen.
I mean, that's fair, but Dan, I remember last year we were picked third in the conference, and you asked me, about the pressure or something like that. Mm-hmm. You remember that question?
Yeah.
Asked me about pressure, and I said, hey, man, there is no pressure for third because everybody wants to be picked first. And so when we roll up and you see a number and it's not 1, not saying that if we saw 1, we would be like, oh, we're ranked 1. We ain't going to do that. You know what I mean? But when the number roll up and it's not 1, it's just like, all right. That's what they think. Let's go. Mm-hmm. That's it. You know what I mean? I tell the guys all the time. I've been in probably 1,000 fights in my life. 1,000. I'm talking about fist fights, real fights here, right? And I done lost probably about 999 of them, most to my big brother. But you know what I learned? It was like, hey man, you either gonna win or you gonna lose. So just strap it up and let's go. And that's kind of our attitude with this football stuff. Ranking, not ranked, whatever the case may be, whoever rolling with us, it's whatever. Like, we're going to play a game come Saturday, and let's go.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's just kind of a little bit of, just you have to acknowledge some of those things going into the season. We were briefly mentioning before we started the program, talking about 8 guys represented from your team in the preseason all-conference.
Yes, sir.
And that's a tremendous testament to the program, and not just because what happened last year or anything like that. Guys have proven themselves time and time again, so that's really exciting to see. A lot of guys are bringing people back in this conference now, a 12-team conference, and two teams are guaranteed to go to the playoffs from the conference, and that's spectacular. I'd love to see 3, and that is a possibility the way they've expanded postseason to the top 20.
Yeah, it's actually a possibility for potentially 4 if things. Think about it. You're gonna have 13 conference, 7 at large. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 4. So that means 2 from the conference. It's a possibility, if you can get 2 at larges, but that maybe that's not a possibility. because we don't play out of conference. So that may not be a possibility.
I said you think that in other sports, this conference has got sometimes five teams into the postseason, like basketball, things like that. That's been interesting. Yes, it's a bigger field in that aspect, but it'll surprise you what happens at the NAIA level of athletics. It certainly has surprised us the last couple of years here at Bethel College. Hey, I appreciate everybody's patience here watching the program. We definitely really thank you for watching. We filmed at a different location this time downstairs, and this is really cool how they've really transformed the kind of the lobby area of Gearing Hall. We usually film upstairs in the media room, but due to the excessive heat up there, we decided to keep it on the ground floor. Definitely it's been interesting to do that here in a different setting for the first football game of 2023. Well, Coach, I'm ready to get up and go. I've been ready since Monday to just get into this game. I mean, it is exciting. We're ready. This is my favorite time of the year, and for a very good reason. And I can't wait to see a lot of the guys that you and I share relationships with
yes, sir.
Really have success and succeed at what they're doing, and honestly get better and better every day. That's the biggest thing. You can only look towards the future, and as far as what you're doing today, are you making yourself better for the future? And I feel like your team has that mentality.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, we're excited too. And as always, man, love God, love my family, man, and roll on.
All right. Well, for Coach A.B. Stokes, I'm Dan Page. Thanks for watching, everybody, and roll on.